This is 9 News with Tracy Vo.
Good evening. We begin tonight with breaking news. A 27-year-old woman stabbed to death in what's believed to have been an alleged act of domestic violence in Sydney's west. A crime scene has been set up outside the home in Quakers Hill. Police have a 31-year-old man in custody. An accused killer is tonight back in Queensland, extradited from Sydney, where he allegedly fled to after murdering his parents. To Nicole Rolls outside the Pine Rivers Watch House. Nicole, when's Chris Pullier set to front court? All right, Nicole Rolls, thank you. To more breaking news now, and a man has been arrested over the suspicious death of a baby in the New South Wales Hunter Valley. The 7-month-old boy died in hospital on Sunday after his mother found him in an unresponsive state. The 36-year-old was taken into custody after being pulled over by police on the New England Highway at Muswellbrook this evening. Families in Geelong are tonight without their homes. Dozens of properties ripped apart in a freak storm. Recovery crews are right now cleaning up the destruction, working around the clock with a mammoth task ahead. And Andrew Lunn now joins us from the Bureau of Meteorology in Melbourne. Andrew, is the worst of the wild weather over? Indeed. Andrew Lunn, thank you. Regional towns in New South Wales have been doing it tough for months. Bushfires, drought and then a final blow, COVID. But precious tourism dollars will soon start flowing in again. Holidaymakers across the state told to book their trips with regional travel back on. To Nine's Charles Croucher in Sydney. Charles, when can the people of New South Wales start exploring their own backyard? Charles Croucher in Sydney, thank you. Simple pleasures like dining indoors at a cafe or restaurant will be handed back to South Australians sooner than first thought. Nine's Harvey Biggs is in Adelaide. Harvey, the Premier is bringing forward relaxed restrictions. What rules are being eased and when? Indeed it is. All right, Harvey, thank you. It could be months before anyone is allowed in or out of Western Australia. The Premier unapologetic for keeping his state's borders shut. Reporter Michael Stamp is in Perth and Mark McGowan is standing his ground, Michael. Michael Stamp in Perth, thank you. Tomorrow, the federal government is expected to unveil a long-awaited plan it says will reduce carbon emissions and create jobs. Live to Kerry Axley in Canberra. Kerry, what will we hear?
Well, Tracy, climate change and energy policy have been out of the headlines for quite a while now, but tomorrow the federal government will release its technology roadmap. Its aim is to reduce emissions without having to mandate a 2050 target by encouraging investment in, for example, gas, then hydrogen. But there is likely to be strong opposition to what the government puts out tomorrow. This is a hotly contested policy area. The government is also likely to argue it can stop energy prices from increasing, therefore helping the local manufacturing sector, which, according to Industry Minister Karen Andrews, is likely to grow thanks to the pandemic.
A technology map for energy production will be out tomorrow, and the government will be pushing for more investment in gas and promoting hydrogen as a clean energy source. Chris Ullman, 9 News.
Housebound Brits are making the most of what new freedoms they have, escaping outdoors as parts of the UK heat up to their warmest day of the year. To Europe correspondent Ben Avery in London. Ben, how hot is it going to get, and are authorities worried about crowds?
Tracy, 26 degrees in London today, 28 degrees in other parts of the UK, and yes, authorities are concerned about keeping people socially distanced with everyone heading out and enjoying the sun. There's a lot of people out and about, not just in the parks like where I am at the moment, but also the beaches, which are now open right across England. So the message to all of those people is keep following the rules, because this country is still in the midst of this COVID-19 crisis. There are actually 545 more coronavirus deaths in the last 24 hours alone, Tracy.
Yeah, dire figures there. But on a lighter note, he was already a hero in our eyes, and now Captain Tom Moore is getting a title to match.
So Tracy, at 100 years of age, what an achievement this is. He will forever be known as Sir Thomas Moore. Tracy?
And we're pretty happy about that. All right, Ben Avery in London, thank you. You are watching Nine's Late News, seen right across the country. When we come back, her son went on a stabbing rampage before being shot dead by police. Tonight, his mother reveals what triggered his meltdown and what message she has to the police who pulled the trigger. Also, cameras catch the moment a car is firebombed. And name-calling and nasty nicknames, Donald Trump and his opponents up the ante. The mother of a WA man shot dead as he went on a stabbing rampage has broken her silence, saying she doesn't blame police for opening fire. Jennifer filed today apologising for the trauma her son caused the community. There's a firebug on the run tonight on the Gold Coast. Wearing a mask, he douses a car in a Southport cul-de-sac and in a blink, it erupts in flames. The arsonist sprints off. Police tonight are hot on his heels, releasing CCTV of last Saturday's fiery attack to track him down. Detectives asking for anyone with information to get in touch. Donald Trump is standing by his coronavirus prevention pills, defending his daily use of a potentially lethal malaria drug and casting doubt over studies that say it isn't safe. The tussle is turning personal, and for a president who's dished out many insulting nicknames for his political enemies, tonight Donald Trump has his own. Next in Nine's late news, the emotional end to more than 30 years of anguish. A mother reunited with her son who was abducted when he was just 2. Also, no need to smile for these cameras. They're designed to take your temperature and take the heat out of any new virus outbreaks. And he saved a whale from shark nets. Can growing public support save him from thousands of dollars in fines?
Keep yourself informed at a time where anything can happen. News alerts when you need them most with the free 9 News app.
People Power has saved a diver from hefty fines after he freed a trapped baby whale from shark nets on the Gold Coast. Django Harris dived in and cut it loose yesterday, but marine rangers told him he would be fined several $1,000s for breaching whale distancing rules. Facing a public backlash, authorities now say Django will get off with a warning. It was a mother and child reunion like no other. Against all odds, a boy stolen from his family in 1988 back with his mum and dad, tracked down by police using facial recognition technology. Amazing story there. Next, tomorrow's weather details. We'll also catch up with our finance regular Scott Phillips on another day of gains on the market. And what would you do? The family who found these bags containing $1.5 million.
Free groceries, free internet, free tolls, free TV and newspapers.
Hundreds of dollars back.
Get the last coronavirus lockdown giveaways. 9 News tomorrow.
The share market has recorded its 4th straight day of gains, the All Ords rising to fresh 10-week highs, adding another 0.38%, up 21.3 points. Our dollar is buying 65.44 US cents. Let's get behind the numbers with Scott Phillips from Motley Fool. Good evening to you, Scott. The market took a deep dive when it opened. What was behind the turnaround?
Yeah, Tracy, good evening. 4 days in a row, as you say, and the longest stretch of positive market closes since before the crisis started. So something of a milestone, which is lovely. A combination, I think, of the fact the market actually looked through some terrible retail numbers, and also the US futures were positive early in the day. They remain so. It's really a story, I think, of the market hopefully doing its job and looking past the current bad news to better times ahead. All right, take us through the individual shares that stood out today. Yeah, from positive news, maybe we might be a chance of running 5 straight days of positive news on the ASX. At the moment, the US markets are all up more than 1%. If that holds overnight in the US, we should start tomorrow in the green, and absent any bad news, we may just finish that way too, which would be nice. It would be nice indeed. Scott Phillips, thanks very much. Now to tomorrow's weather outlook. Rain at times for Brisbane with a top of 23. Rain developing for Sydney at 19. Perth sunny with a maximum of 21. Finally, to an afternoon drive in the US that led to a $1.5 million discovery. Here's the Virginian family who made the find, and here's what they picked up in the middle of the road. 2 bags they thought were rubbish until they opened them up and their honesty took over. It's believed the bag somehow fell out of a postal van while on the way to a bank. The police are urging authorities to provide the family with a hefty reward. And that's Nine's late news for this Wednesday. Thanks for your company. I'm Tracy Vo. Good night.